Grad school isn't just about research and deadlines. It's about relationships with supervisors, with lab mates, with yourself. And in all those relationships, one thing can make or break your experience: boundaries. Not walls, not rigid rules. Boundaries are the limits we set to protect our sense of identity and keep us from getting overwhelmed by the demands of others.
As psychotherapist Deborah Hecker puts it, boundaries are the limits we set for ourselves as individuals in relationships. Today, let's talk about what boundaries actually are, the different types, and how you can set them, especially in the complicated context of grad school.
So, what are boundaries? Boundaries are not about pushing people away, they're about showing others how we want to be treated and how we expect to be treated in relationships. They help us say, this is okay, this is not okay for me. And they show up in a lot of areas. There's physical boundaries, which include protecting your personal space and body; emotional boundaries, protecting your thoughts and feelings; verbal, what you're willing to talk about and how; time boundaries, how you spend your hours; workplace boundaries, what's okay in your personal life, in your professional life; spiritual, financial, and sexual, protecting values, safety, and resources, among so many other things. When those boundaries aren't clear, relationships can feel draining or unsafe. When they're healthy, relationships feel respectful and sustainable.
Think of boundaries on a spectrum. On one end, you have the rigid boundaries where you avoid closeness, keep people at a distance, and never ask for help. It feels safe, but at the same time isolating. Then you have loose or limited boundaries where you overshare, struggle to say no, and worry constantly about others' opinions. It feels like you're losing yourself. And last but not least, on the other end, you have healthy boundaries where you know your values and limits, you share appropriately, you can say no, and you respect when others say no. No one stays perfectly in the healthy column all the time, but noticing where you tend to fall is the first step towards change.
Setting boundaries isn't about issuing ultimatums. It's a process, and it starts with reflection. So, step one, know your limits. When are things feeling off? Is it your time, your workload, your privacy? If you're not sure, start by paying attention to when you feel drained, resentful, or uncomfortable. That's often a sign a boundary is needed. The next step is clarifying before you communicate. It's hard for others to follow boundaries you haven't fully defined for yourself. What exactly feels like too much? What do you need instead?
Step 3 is to communicate clearly. State your boundary in advance when possible and speak up when it's crossed. You don't have to over-explain. Clear, direct language is enough. Step 4 is to take responsibility for your needs. Boundaries aren't about making other people change. They're about deciding what you will or won't do in order to protect your well-being.
Okay, let's talk about the one that makes a lot of grad students nervous: setting boundaries with your advisor. Effective communication is key. It's not about confrontation, but collaboration. Clear boundaries can actually build trust, reduce conflict, and make your work relationship stronger. Here are some ways to advocate for yourself. Be clear. Consider saying something like, I'm committed to my thesis, but I need to block out time for personal responsibilities. Can we coordinate schedules so I can manage both? Try using assertive language. So you could say, I value your feedback, but I'd prefer to discuss areas of improvement privately rather than in a group setting.
Next, provide context. For example, I value our meetings, but I'm feeling overwhelmed by the frequency. Can we prioritize important discussions and limit non-urgent check-ins? Also, try to be proactive. If communication has been slow, you can try asking if your concern is urgent or can wait, or perhaps scheduling meetings directly on their calendar. You could also seek help from committee members, lab mates, or other faculty when appropriate. And if a conflict goes beyond what you can manage on your own, remember that there are sources: your graduate coordinator, counseling services, diversity and human rights, and more.
Knowing your own communication style can make setting boundaries easier. Take a few minutes for a quick self-assessment, like the free quiz in the caption of this video. The more you know about how you tend to express yourself, the more intentional you can be when setting limits.
Setting boundaries in grad school isn't selfish. It's essential. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care about your work and your well-being. Healthy boundaries protect your identity and energy. It fosters clearer, more respectful relationships and makes your grad school experience more sustainable in the long run. So check in with yourself. Notice where you're feeling stretched too thin, and remember, it is okay to say no. It's okay to ask for what you need. Thanks for joining this conversation. If you found this helpful, consider sharing it with your peers or having an open chat in your department about boundaries. Because when we set healthy boundaries, we make grad school a healthier place for everyone.